Hey guys, this is Mark Shawson, the Pattern Trader. Recently I got an email from Nicholas, and Nicholas asked me the following question. He said, you said in your webinars you thought the Nasdaq would drop below 12,000, maybe even fall to 11,800. Do you still consider this likely, or has it bottomed out and is now about to rally as some analysts believe it will? And this is from Nicholas. So first off, Nicholas, thanks a ton for submitting your question. I did a live webinar series last week where each day I went into the market live and showed the participants on the webinar what I was looking at the time. And at the time I was pretty much focused on two instruments, the Nasdaq and gold. Both of them were following this, idiosyncratic chart pattern called the ascending broadening triangle. These are bearish price patterns, and based on that, I told our members at the time that I was very bearish on the Nasdaq. Now, I'd started shorting the Nasdaq the week prior when the Nasdaq was around 13,900 and made a ton of money. And then in the week that I was doing the webinars that Nicholas was attending, I literally performed a magic act where each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I showed them my short positions and how they grew through the week. And beginning with my short positions on Monday, by the end of the week on Thursday, those positions were up $500,000 as I was taking advantage of what I thought was going to be a decline in the Nasdaq. Since then, the Nasdaq has been churning around the 12,200 level to 13,000 level, just going up and down. Just to create a metaphor, if you trade the triple Qs, which is the ETF that follows the Nasdaq, the triple Qs have been trading between 300 on the downside and about 312 to 315 on the upside, and for the last week it's just been churning madly within this band. And now the question is it going to break out higher from this churn, or will we finally resolve the pattern and go lower? So I am still in the bearish camp based on a prevailing governing price pattern. But it's very tricky in here. The Nasdaq was unchanged today when the Dow Jones was up 500 points and making all-time new highs. So sometimes it's difficult to stick to your guns, and this is why you can't even listen to the analysts. So most analysts will tell you we just have this huge COVID relief bill passed. There's going to be trillions of dollars trickling into the market. There's going to be all kinds of purchasing power. But frankly, to my mind, the market already knew this. This is old news. The market already knows that we're going to have, 6-7% GDP. And frankly, I think all of this stimulus will be a net negative. But it doesn't really matter what the analysts think or what I think. It really, is incumbent upon, just the price action in the market. So I am still short the Nasdaq. I'm going to show you what I've been doing. I'm going to show you on the real-time charts where the Nasdaq is now and what I'm looking for, for this thing to break one way or another. We did have a key reversal price action today, so I do think if we break the lows of today around 310 on the triple Qs, I think we will go lower and start mining those lows around 300, which will be about the 12,200 level on the Nasdaq, and then open up a huge path lower. So again, I'm just entirely watching the price action. I'm not listening to analysts, and the market is the ultimate referee. The market is the only thing that counts. And now I'm going to go into the real-time charts and show you what I'm looking at in the Nasdaq. In this chart, I'm looking at the Nasdaq. This is the stock index that is aggregated with most of the technology stocks in the United States, and this is a daily chart. Now, what I try and do is take a piece of the middle out of moves that move from one direction to the other. So I try and, capture some part of the middle of a move like we just had over the last couple of weeks. Now, instead, I captured just about every piece of this move where I sold the Nasdaq here and I covered my position here. Now, I've added additional positions, but between entering here and getting out here, I made around $1 million US by doing some pretty aggressive trading based on my observation of certain price action at the time. I was buying put options, I was buying inverse ETFs, I was doing everything I could to short the Nasdaq, and in this period of time the Nasdaq dropped 10 to 15%, but I was highly leveraged and made a bucket full of dough. Now, why did I choose to sell the Nasdaq right there when it was right at the all-time high of a multi-decade move? It was, again, just based on the observation of price patterns and price action. And at the time, I was looking at an idiosyncratic price chart pattern called the ascending broadening price pattern. And it's called the ascending broadening price pattern because it ascends throughout the structure of the chart pattern. It begins life narrow and then broadens or widens out at the top. So it's called an ascending broadening chart pattern. Now, this is inherently a bearish chart pattern. So when I saw this, I was already being in position in my mind that things were going to turn lower. And then it was the observation of this key reversal right here. And what I mean by key reversal, on that particular day, the Nasdaq made an all-time new high and then closed on the low. And it was actually on this day right here where we had this small inside bar where you can see it was a narrow range. The price from high to low of that day was within the price high to low of the previous day. So this is called an inside bar or a narrow range bar. And so the following day when I saw prices going higher, knowing that we had these reversals, knowing I was in this bear price pattern, I started buying put options on the QQQs. A put is just a leverage bet on the downside. This is very tricky. You can lose 100% of your investment if you don't get the timing right or the direction right. But as it happened, I bought my puts right at the high and I covered right at the low and made $1 million on that move in the QQQ puts and many other instruments. Now you can see we've broken the downside, so almost confirming this ascending broadening. We've broken to the downside. We had a retreat today to the upper level, retesting this ascending broadening price pattern, and then we had a small but perceptible key reversal where during the day prices in the triple Qs went to about 316.5 and then closed on the low of the day around 311. Now you can see this is live. This is in the night session. We're kind of rallying a little bit. And now the question is, have we put in the lows and are we going to go back up? Or, is this going to turn around back in the direction of the trend? Frankly, I still think that we're going to go lower, and any breach of today's low under about 310 on the triple Qs will be an indicator for me that we're going to start going lower. Obviously, if we start taking this out, all bets are off. I'll start covering my shorts and start looking at something perhaps a little bit differently. But I still feel that this ascending broadening price pattern is in force and effect. And then there is another bearish price pattern in the form of this head and shoulders. So this looks just like a man or woman's left shoulder. The peak is the head, and that would be the right shoulder. And basically, we've rallied to the neckline. The neckline is simply a line that is drawn through the pattern. And so we're just hovering around this neckline. And so any penetration back below here, to my mind, will set in motion another big down move. And frankly, this is what I think is in store. So I'm still loaded up on the short side with puts, with inverse options. I'm short some stocks, and I still think that we're going to get a move lower based on this head and shoulders, based on the ascending broadening price pattern. And so the Nasdaq is now going, or looking like it's going in the opposite direction of the Dow and the S&P. So I hope you got a ton of value out of this video. So once again, if you'd like to check out my live webinar series each day next week at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then go to the link thepatterntrader.com/live, and I look forward to seeing all of you next week on the live broadcast. So with that said, I wish you a healthy and prosperous trading week, and I will see you next time.